Heavyweight boxing fans, what's the deal? All right, man. I need to start doing a live stream or something, man. But just gonna answer some questions you guys have been asking me in the comment section over the last few days. Um, Somebody asked me about Daniel Dubois. I mean, he'll have his first fight. He looks he looks like he looks the part. Let's put it that way. Lawrence Okoli, I know he's at cruiserweight, but I seen him in his first fight. It was a blowout, quick fight. Um, Want to see more of him, obviously. But Daniel Dubois, though, I seen the way he's going to fight some dude named something Kelly. Some dude, I seen the weigh in, man. It looked like a damn heavyweight is getting ready to fight a middleweight. Although the dude does outweigh him by 6 or 7 pounds, but just physically, it looks like a mismatch. Um, you know what I mean? So then Nathan Gorman, somebody just asked me about that fight, the Akinladi fight. Somebody sent me a link, man, a few days ago. One of my subscribers, I believe it was BC. So if you're watching this, BC, I think you're the one that sent me the link to the Gorman Akinladi fight, but the link didn't work. So if somebody has a link to that fight, please send it to me. I know Gorman won the fight, but I would still like to see the fight. I think Gorman is a really good body puncher. He's a young up and coming guy that's working with Ricky Hatton. So you got um, you got Daniel Dubois. He's fighting. He's up and coming. You know what I mean? Then Lawrence Okoli, who I know is at cruiserweight, but I think he'll probably move up to heavyweight. But regardless, though, even if he stays at cruiser, those are three prospects that I'm really keeping an eye on out of the UK with the heavyweights. And you got guys like Nick Webb and a few other guys. But just read an article. Somebody sent me a link with Klitschko, two articles of Klitschko. Um, because the fight's approaching and they're doing a lot of media stuff right now. There's been clips of Klitschko hitting the bag and hitting the mitts and sparring and all this stuff. So one of the articles I just read, Klitschko said he's doing some major upgrades for this training camp. Now what upgrades is he talking about? I'm not sure, man. He could just be trying to throw that out there so he can get back to Joshua. But at this stage of the game, he's a future Hall of Famer. Um, what more can he really tweak? The only thing he can really do that he didn't do in his last fight is throw punches. It's as simple as that, man. I know you guys want me to give you this long answer, but just throw punches at this stage. He's a future Hall of Famer, 41 years old. To me, he made a change when he went with Emmanuel Stewart. You know what I mean? So, and then after Stewart, he kind of kept some of those same principles. And then you got Jonathan Banks and, all those guys working with him that used to work with Stewart. So, kind of disciples of Stewart. So I really don't see much changing, man. I just see him being more aggressive. That's all I really see is just him being more aggressive and throwing punches. You know what I mean? And yes, I'm going to do a keys to victory on my heavy bag. I'll probably do that next. It's going to be next week for sure. But I'm definitely doing that. There's no way in the world I'm going to go without doing the keys to victory for a fight this big at the heavyweight division. But it'll be sometime next week. Just give me a minute for it. But I'm definitely going to do that. Um, then there was another Klitschko article that somebody sent me. What was that article about, man? Oh, Klitschko, he was saying that there's a chance that, he has some rust. And that kind of goes without saying. The dude's been out of the ring since November of 2015. You know what I mean? So, of course, there's going to be some type of rust there. Although he stays in shape and he seems very motivated. He doesn't get out of shape. But this is the longest break he's had in his entire career. And it could be a gift or a curse, man, because the older you get, or just as a fighter, period, especially heavyweight, you want to keep your body active, keep your body moving so he stays in shape. But there's a difference between staying in shape and then, actually training for a fight, like a training camp. But shit, man, he's been preparing for fights, so he's actually been in training camps, for Fury. And then we know how that ended, you know what I mean? Canceled 2 times, the rematch did. So he's been, staying in good shape. He's been in actually training camps, man. So, but with that said, though, we still know there could be a little bit of rust there. And he kind of acknowledged it in that article that I read, and he's saying that the fight's already 50-50, So, look, man, whatever Vladimir comes out and says before this fight, whatever he needs to do to motivate himself, it is what it is. If he thinks he's rusty or what's his thing he's going around saying? That he's obsessed, uh, you know, um, it's a 50-50 fight, or I think, yeah, the other day he came out and said Joshua is, could be a CrossFit champion. Whatever Vladimir needs to do to motivate himself, it's fine with me. You know what I mean? He's going to say a lot of things. 1 minute Vladimir comes across like, there's no way this kid with this inexperience is going to last with me. Then he'll come out and say stuff like it's 50-50, rust, I'm an old man, so Vladimir is just mentally preparing himself for this fight. He knows what's ahead of him, you know what I mean? So then somebody was asking me, somebody sent me a picture, man, or somebody was asking me to look at a picture, and they was asking something about steroids with Anthony Joshua. I guess some picture came out. He has like a few little pimples on the side of his face or on his nose or something. To me, look, man, they're both getting tested by VADA. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to put that type of shit out there. They're getting tested by VADA. And like I say, with every fighter in any division, especially in this current climate of fighters, it's a possibility that anybody could be using. You know what I mean? I don't put it past nobody. I don't care what country you're from, how tall you are, how short you are. It doesn't matter. I think anybody is possible that anybody can be using. But they're using VADA. Some people don't trust VADA. I don't 100% completely trust any drug testing organization. I've said that many a times over the last 7 years of being here on YouTube. But if I had to pick one, I would roll with VADA. But that doesn't necessarily mean that I'm ready to jump off a building for VADA or anything like that. You know what I mean? I don't look at it like that. I don't 100% completely trust them. You know what I mean? But I think out of all the drug testing organizations, I will roll with VADA. All right, so trying to think what else you guys been asking me, man. I think I'm gonna end it here, man. I'm trying to think of all these other. This is the last video I want to do today, so I'm trying to think of all the questions you guys been asking me. Oh, somebody asked me who would win a fight between Jarrell Miller and Dillian Whyte. That's a tough one, man. It's really a tough fight. Tough to pick who I think will win that fight. Dillian Whyte. See, I've seen him against Anthony Joshua, Derek Chisora. I haven't seen Miller in any of those type of matchups. His toughest guy on paper is Fred Cassie, and he took care of business. But it wasn't a drag out. It wasn't back and forth. Miller didn't have to, push it to second, third gear. He just fought downhill in those fights. You know what I mean? So, but with that said, though, that doesn't necessarily mean that Dillian Whyte would win the fight. It's a tough fight. If somebody favored Dillian Whyte just based on who he's fought and who he has beaten, I can see that, you know what I mean? But stylistically, Miller isn't a pup to combat though, man. He's not, new to this. He participated in K1, and I understand K1 is different than boxing, but he's still throwing hands. It's still combat, but they're just kicking in that, in the K1, but I don't know, man. It's a tough fight to pick. Now, if the betting lines came out, I would expect Dillian Whyte to be the favorite, though. You know what I mean? I can see him being like a 2-1 favorite going into a fight like that. But I really don't know, man. I just don't know. This is one of those 50-50 fights. I'd rather be honest with you guys and just say this guy or that guy without being 100% sure that I think that guy's going to win the fight, or at least be confident in my pick. I want to know, even if you roll with Whyte, I'm not confident in that pick. You know what I mean? So, but that's a good thing. For me, when fights are like that, when I really just don't know, and I could just, fight a fight like that, I'll just break down their styles, pros and cons, and leave it at that. Because I really don't know who will win that fight. But that's a damn good fight. I think the banter will be excellent. If could you imagine Jarrell Miller and Dillian Whyte going back and forth at a presser? Man, that shit's a movie. Like, that is a movie right there, man. But all right, y'all, I'm out, man.